Because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Do You Read BTS? I'm Lisa.
And I'm Zay. Welcome back, guys. So this week we did a story that was recommended to us called Roommates with Benefits by at Erinbrownwrites on AO3.
Yep, recommended to us by one of our listeners.
So let's get into it because this was a good one. It's a little bit. It's probably not gonna be as long. Well, I know it's not gonna be as long as the last two episodes, but it's a good story.
Yeah, and like I was telling Zay, it was a break from what we've been reading with so much drama. It was just a little bit of drama, but like love drama, so it was good.
Right.
So this is our Namjoon episode, as you guys all know. And at the beginning of the story, there's this girl which doesn't have a name, which we're going to call her the girl again. The girl, and she is roommates with Jimin originally, but Jimin is moving out now. And he recommends a roommate for her, and it ends up being Namjoon. So, honey, at the beginning of the story, it starts.
The very beginning. I was like, okay, let's jump into it.
I mean, she wakes up in the morning. I guess she's waiting for him to come, but he doesn't really come when she thinks he's going to come. But she wakes up in the morning and he's on the couch looking delicious, honey.
No shirt, arms out.
This was the only picture that was in the story, and it was a good one.
Yes.
Is that really him in that picture?
I don't know, but I've seen it so many times that I'm thinking too. Yes.
But he has that blonde hair. I was just thinking.
I don't know, but every time I've seen it on multiple sites that are talking about him. Yeah. So I'm guessing that maybe it was from one of their shows that they had, and it was him laying on the couch. I don't know. If it's not him, it looked just like him.
Yes, it did. It looks delectable. Okay.
Yes.
So anyway, so he's laying on the couch looking all sexy with his big strong shoulders out. Oh, he got some nice shoulders too. So, okay, so he's laying on the couch and she, tries to get up and make like breakfast without waking him up and stuff. And when she's in the kitchen, like cooking or getting coffee and stuff, he comes in and he doesn't have that shirt on. And he was like, oh, I should get a shirt. And she was like, no, you don't have to get a shirt. And they start flirting right then and there.
Immediately.
And she does ask him why he didn't sleep in his room, and he said, oh, it doesn't have a fan in there, and he is used to sleeping with a fan, which I was like, yes, that's me all day. I have to have a fan
too.
I cannot sleep without a fan on. So and so I understood what he was talking about. So they was just flirting back and forth, saying little things to each other, and then they decided, hey, let's have this one night stand. Or maybe, what do you call it? It probably ain't a one night stand. It wasn't even night, it's morning.
Yeah, it was kind of like a roommates with benefits thing, but like it was gonna, the way that it was kind of set up was like, this will be this like a one-time thing. And so they were like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like the feeling is mutual. You're horny, I'm horny, we both horny in the morning. Let's go ahead and do it. Like the first day of them meeting, they didn't even really know each other.
They didn't even know each other. I think she knew his name, and that was it.
Yeah. And so they got down on the couch. She spread a blanket out on the couch. And I think that it was just understood that this is only happening on the couch in the morning.
Right. And they made like rules to go by of how it would be for them to have sex. So it was just like, do we kiss? Do we not kiss? I don't remember what some of the other rules were, but yeah.
And I was thinking about that because if it was me in that situation, I would be like, no kiss. But since it's Namjoon, it's a whole nother situation now.
Right. Right. So, like, during the time that they actually, once they finally start having sex, so Namjoon's apparently a talker, and it's not like normal talk. Like, it's like randomness. Yes. And but she also, like, they have a whole conversation while stuff is going on about, like, books and astrology and Greek mythology, like all types of stuff.
Like, for real.
It's so
and
random.
I was
so
talking
random.
to D. Lizzie, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be talking like that. Now, talking nasty is one thing, okay? Because he do talk nasty a little bit. But having a whole conversation about nothing, you riding him and going on, yeah, so the sky is blue. I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, I think I would have a hard time, like, because for women it's very mental. So, like, to have a whole full-blown conversation, I would be like, look, I can't focus. Mm-hmm. So we gotta do something else.
Yes, I would have been telling him to shut up. Namjoon or no Namjoon, we don't talk.
It's just so random. Like,
mm-hmm. Like they was having full-blown conversations about
mm-hmm.
life, astrology, and books that they were reading.
Yeah, and like some of the things, like, he would give her compliments, but they were so poetic. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember one of them was like, "You look," what he say? You look. What he tell her?
I don't remember nothing but him saying he could live there one time.
There was so much to it. There was so much that he said that was so random, but I was like, some of it was so cute.
Yeah, it was cute. It almost seemed like a Namjoon thing, like that. I can kind of picture him really doing that in real life.
Really?
Well, he is that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dylan says, like, I hope not, just in case.
Girl, I wouldn't even care. Would not even care. I'd work it out.
Work it out.
So, yeah, so their first encounter happens the next day. That kind of ends that. It's the I say the next day. I forgot. It's the morning. So,
they go on as if nothing happened for a couple of days.
Yeah, they just kind of. Oh wait, they go to brunch. Remember? So after they both, like, finish, they get cleaned up or whatever. They go to eat, and so they, like, start to learn each other that way. So it's very interesting. Mm-hmm. So the next night, or it's the next few weeks later, because they're like friendly, but they're not officially like friends yet. They've kind of made it a thing, like they would deal with each other, but they weren't really like dating each other. Mm-hmm. So she goes out one night. She meets this guy. She brings him back to the house, and she's like, "Hey, I have a roommate." She didn't tell him that she was bringing anybody home, but it was just what it was. So she and the guy are getting ready to get in, or actually they just get it in. And so the next night, or the next morning, she sees Namjoon on the couch, and he says, "Hey, I heard you last night," or something like that. Like, we have a really thin wall. And she's like, "Hey, my bad. Like, if I would have known, I would have, tried to be more quiet," or something like that. He gonna tell her he's sorry that she didn't have an orgasm.
Yeah,
and that she had to fake it.
To fake it. Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, so then she felt weird, because she's like, "You were listening to me?" And he's like, "I mean, kind of can't help it. Like,
the walls are thin.
What do you expect?" Mm-hmm. But he told her that he was mad when they were having sex, because he wasn't getting it right. And he's like, "I wanted to come into the room and show him how to do it correctly." I was like, whoa.
And she asked him, "Well, why you didn't?"
Why you didn't? Mm-hmm. And so I think they said, did they end up having sex that? Yeah, they did.
I think they ended up having sex too on the couch.
Yeah, they sure did.
Mm-hmm. And he is the only person that she can really get, like, if he's on top of, like, she can't get off unless she's riding the man. Mm-hmm. And he's the only one that made her orgasm, without that. It didn't really mention that in the book. Like it didn't like point that out, but I mean,
but the way that it's written, you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Right.
So once they decide like they're gonna have sex again, that kind of happens, and they're like, all right, well, I know this, we said it was gonna be a one-time thing, but like, would it be so bad if we kind of just like did it more often or whatever? And they kind of agree, like, yeah, let's do it. Their whole little like dialogue in their relationship is kind of cute though. Like when you're reading it, and just kind of the things that they like, it's real flirty, but it's cute. Like as they're getting ready to have sex, you're just like, okay, it's cute.
So as time go by, they kind of just on and off kind of thing going on. And then one night, Namjoon's out and he brings a girl home.
One day she's like, she didn't have any plans and she wanted to hang out with Namjoon. But when she got home, he was getting ready to leave. And so she was like, hey, where are you about to go? And she was going to ask him to go out. And he said he was going to a museum. Like he had a date. And that he was going to go to the museum. And she's like, oh, okay, well, have a good time or whatever. But she felt some type of way about it. Later on, he explains like how that whole situation even came about with him going to the museum. But yeah, he goes to the museum one day and brings the girl back. So,
and it's just the girl that he does not like.
Right. And at some point they had a conversation about the things that he liked during sex, and like loud like screams and stuff during sex, he wasn't for it. Like he hates that. And apparently when they were getting it in, she was exactly that type of person, and he was struggling.
So she was not exactly a moaner, she was a screamer.
She was a screamer.
That sounds annoying.
Yeah. Just being loud for no reason. So.
And that night, this girl in here just like screaming. First of all, we already know the walls are thin.
Right.
And she in there like killing herself laughing because she know that's what he do not like. And so then she puts headphones in and she can hear him over the headphones. Then she low-key get a little jealous about it. But then I guess as time go by, she goes to sleep.
Right. So when she gets up though, she goes to the bathroom or something like that. And I think either he was going to the bathroom or she was going to the bathroom. Someone was going to the bathroom and they saw each other and they were kind of talking about it. So then, or was it the next day? I don't know. Something happened.
Wasn't it the next morning?
It might have been the next morning.
Because she went to sleep.
Was it the next morning? No, it wasn't the morning. This is why it wasn't the morning. Because she ends up sending him a video of her playing with her vibrator. Because he told her at some point that he could listen to her voice like on repeat, like on a recording. So she ends up recording herself playing with her vibrator and sending it to him, but he was asleep. Right. So
he was in the shower.
Oh, okay.
And she hears him say "holy shit" or something like that. But she just go to sleep.
Yeah, she goes to sleep. So after that, she sees him in the morning and they don't talk. He pulls her right into that living room. They go on the couch and they get it popping.
Yep. Straight like that. She was like, let me show him what he just was missing.
Right.
And he was like already horny off of that.
Right.
Recording. And he was like, come on, let's go. Like he was not playing. He was like, come on, let's go.
Let's go. And this time they don't use a condom. So, because that was like one of the things. And so he don't use a condom. And she's like, make sure you pull out. And he's like, I got you. And she's like, well, if you don't, you're going to have to give me the morning after pill. So.
And I would have been the same way if it was time to.
Right. Like, hey, man, not trying to get you caught up, bro. So.
Right. And after we read all the fanfics, I was just imagining how great this is.
Girl.
Raw dog.
Girl.
Because according to all the fanfics we read, he is blessed again, guys.
Exactly. So he asked her if they have plans, and he pretty much is like, well, can we just stay naked, watch movies, and have sex all day? And she's like, that's cute that he wants to spend time with me. And so that's exactly what they do.
All day. I was kind of like, I wish she would have written that whole thing into the story, but she didn't.
I know. I know. So they lay on the couch. They do all that all day long. And then she's like, "Hey, I gotta get up in the morning." So I we're gonna have to cut this short so I can go in my room or whatever. And he's like, "All right, cool." So that is.
He was like, "Can't we call in tomorrow?"
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
And
He
she was
did say
like,
that.
"I wish, but I got a project due."
Right. So a few days later, she's gonna go to the grocery store, and he says he'll go with her. So he goes. So they go shopping or whatever, and she's like, "Well, I don't want to go with you because I have a list. I have like a set pattern how I do things." And he's like, "No, it's fine. I'm really quick when I shop, so it's not a big deal." So they go together. They get food and stuff like that. And she lets him know, like, "Hey, Jim's gonna be here in a couple of weeks." And so he's like, "Yeah, I know, because he messaged me. I already know," or whatever. So she says, like, "Hey, let's have him over for dinner, blah 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 blah." And his birthday's coming up, so she's like, "Oh, cool, when's your birthday?" Which is so funny because they've been having all this sex, even
And she
protected
don't
and
even know.
unprotected.
And she don't even know his birthday.
He asked her about her birthday. They're still kind of getting to know each other. So they're like, "How did you go to school? How do you know Jimin?" And she was like, "How do you know Jimin?" And pretty much they all went to school together.
Yeah.
And
she was like, "That's crazy because how do we go to school together and share a mutual friend and not know each other?"
exactly. And then she tells him, like, "Me and Jimin we've always been cool. He was with my sister for a little bit. They broke up. Then he ended up dating one of her guy friends from college. And so they've been cool ever since." And then they became roommates or whatever. So
Which just sound like Jimmy.
don't
it though? Don't it just sound like Jimmy?
yeah, that's funny. So they continue to get to know each other. I think they watch some movies or whatever, or they talk about movies. I don't know, but she's starting to realize, like, she's starting to catch feelings for him. But she's trying to make things like chill because she knows that this is like a casual thing and she doesn't want it to get weird because he's becoming like a good friend as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot one thing.
What?
When they were at the grocery store, he got her some flowers and like plants.
Oh, we skipped the whole grocery store. Hey, don't that happen right? Don't that happen after?
Well, when they go to
talking about his birthday, but he doesn't have his birthday yet.
Yeah, no, he hasn't had his birthday yet. But they when they're at the grocery store, because I know I was talking about the grocery store earlier and having the conversation about Jimin coming down. I forgot to mention that they got plants, and then he bought her a thing of flowers. And she's like, "I'm not really good with flowers, so that's on you."
And he pays for the flowers. He said, so that's cute. Why I didn't get like a live plant. We just got cut one.
Right.
So isn't that the time where about the birthday party was happening? She was getting all cleaned up, extra for his birthday. Just doing a bunch of extra because he's only seen her like around the house.
Right.
So she wanted to get extra for that birthday. She got him a nice present and everything.
Yeah. So wait, real quick. I'm gonna back up real quick. So there's a part where they're watching movies, like they're back at the house and they're watching movies, and he's like, let's just hang out the rest of the day. And he's like, "Do you want to have sex?" And she's like, it's not the morning, because they kind of had set their thing to be in the morning. And he's like, "Okay, well, we'll just sit here and all day, or for the rest of the day, and chill." And then, like, once midnight hit, he was like, "Well, it's morning." And so she felt some type of way and was like, "I mean, is that all you want? You just want to have sex?" And he's like, "No, I like hanging out with you too, but like, it's the morning." So technically, so they had like a little bit of a tiff. And then they were kind of past it.
And at that part, I was just like, why she mad? Like, she know that's what they've been doing the whole time. But I get that now she's getting a little feelings or whatever, and I get that. Yeah. But you can't get mad. This is what y'all been doing from the jump.
Right.
So she was just irritated that she was starting to like him, and she didn't think he liked her, but he actually was liking her too.
Yeah. So before the birthday party again, remember, she was like, "I need to start dating because I haven't started dating since I've been hooking up with him." So she hops on Tinder, and she's like scrolling through, and he pops up on her thing, on her mat or her thing, and he tells her, like, she shows him the screen, and he's like, you didn't swipe yet? And he tells her, well, you better swipe right. So then she sits there and overthinks that. So finally he tells her, like, it's just Tinder, don't overthink it. So she swipes on him or whatever, and they matched.
So evidently he's been on there.
He's been on there, and he had been
right.
Yep.
Yep.
So he tells her that he's been had it for like a month, and she's like, well, why didn't you say anything? And he's like, I didn't, pretty much like self-preservation, like I didn't want to get hurt. And she's like, okay, he does like you. They have like an awkward text conversation, and then that's kind of it. And then we get to the birthday party. Okay, go ahead.
This is when a little bit of drama.
Right. Yes.
So she get all jazzy up and look all fresh and nice, you know. And then she goes to the birthday party, and he sees her, she sees him. They make eye contact. She hugs him. They like, you know, she meets all the rest of the friends, all the rest of the, you know, OT7. And she realizes that she went to school with every last one of them. She knows some of them, or some of them. I think she either knows or seen all of them except for Yugi. And so, whatever, they talk and get a drink or whatever, and then she goes to the bar. He's kind of hanging out with all his friends that's there, and it's a rooftop party too, right? It's like a rooftop party.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
I bet it was lit. Anyway, so she's, you know, get at the bar drinking, and the girl comes up to her and talks to her. Now, we forgot to mention that this girl had texted him earlier in the book.
Yeah.
She only knows her name, and the only thing she texts him and says is, oh, your birthday coming up. What are you doing for? Basically.
Yeah.
And so she remembers that because she picks up his phone and is like, oh, you got a text messages. Because she just so used to, I guess everybody got an iPhone because everybody used to the same process with the phones, you know?
Well, and I think they were ordering food, and so he was like showing her the menu or something like that, and the text came through when she was looking at the menu.
Yeah, she kind of swiped it anyway, thinking, you know, oh, this is my phone, but not really, like mentally knowing this, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't her phone, so that's how she seen the message and she gave it to him. But anyway, skip back to the party. So she's talking to this girl at the bar. And this girl's asking her about, you know, how do you know him? Who are you, basically? And she lets him know that she's the roommate or whatever. And then she asks her, do y'all like each other? Like, do y'all go together? Basically.
Being nosy,
yes. And then she kind of ignored the question and was just drinking. And like, then she left and went to go sit with Jimin and all them, and she was like, who is that girl?
She said, let me get this tea real quick because I didn't know who the hell she is.
Because the only thing that she tells her is they had something back in the day that it didn't go well.
And the other members were telling her, like, none of them liked her.
Right.
So she's kind of like, you know, what the heck, whatever. She feels some type of way and she leaves. So she leaves them at the party and goes home and is feeling some type of way.
Yeah, and because he's all hooked up on the girl now.
Yeah, because like he was like super excited when he saw Chloe and was like super happy, and she noticed it, and so she felt some type of way about that whole situation. So she
now pausing right here. What would you do in that situation? I was thinking about that. I was like, I would not have left.
I wouldn't have left, no.
But then I refer back to the other story.
Which one?
When she was like, she is not. What story was that? When she was like, let me get my. What story was that? Remember she was with Jimmy in the story, and she was like, no, he's not. She's not finna do this. What story was that? It was was it an OT7 or the Jimmy story?
The vampire one?
No, it wasn't.
No, not the vampire one. It was what story was that?
Was it the OT7 story?
I think it
was basically with Jimmy.
Yeah, and the girl, he brought the girl home, and she was like, "Nope,
frat boys,
frat boys."
Yep.
Yes.
And see, I thought about that in that space. I was like, oh, I would have had her attitude at that point. I would not have left the club.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have left, but I would have felt some type of way. But I would have had to ask him about it. Like, all right, so what's the deal with her?
Oh, I guess I'm just feeling some type because I would have been like, girl, no, you ain't rubbing up on my man. Let me get over here. Hey,
But he
boo.
wasn't her man.
Okay, and that's the reason why I would have been like, hey, boo, what's up?
I get it.
Like I would not have been like just mad and just left. Like, I would have just been like, oh, who she thinks she is?
Right.
Like because she learned about who she was in the past and why none of them liked her. None of the boys liked her. So then I would have been like, oh no, girl, you is not finna get my man.
Something we forgot to mention. So when Jimmy got into town before the party, they went out to eat. And they were kind of like flirty with each other, the girl and Namjoon. And so Jimin's kind of sort of
catching on.
And so he asked like each of them like, what's been going on or something like that. And he asked if she has a date or something like that, or if she's seeing anybody. And she's like, yeah, I have a date next week. And he's kind of laughing at her like, oh, I bet it's another finance guy or like a lawyer, because that was like her type. And let me like trying to kind of get some more information. He's like, what does he do? Blah, blah, that type of stuff. And so Namjoon like interrupts her and is like kind of saying what he does for a living. And so then Jimin asks Namjoon, like, what about you? And he's like, yeah, I also have a date next week. And I'm not gonna tell you any details. So then he gets up to go to the bathroom. Namjoon gets up to go to the bathroom, and Jimin's like smiling at the girl, and pretty much is like, I know you like him, girl. And Jimin's kind of surprised, like, oh, he has no idea that you like him. And she's like, oh, but you're wrong.
Right.
He said, so she was like, why would you think he's into me? And he's like, I don't know, I feel like he is. So then finally, yeah, they end up telling him. Like they go out, because they go out to the karaoke bar and they're singing or whatever, and she tells, like, she hits some song that's like some rap song. I can't remember what song it was in the book, but anyway, she does the song, and Namjoon kisses her in front of Jimin, and Jimin's like, oh, so then that's when they end up telling her. Okay, sorry.
And then they be all up on each. After that, they was all up on each other, honey, in the cabin.
Yeah.
Everybody he was kissing all on her, asked her why she tastes so good. I was like, ooh, Namjoon.
Right.
So anyway, fast
back
forward,
to the party.
Back to the party.
I forgot about that, but I was like, that was kind of an important part. So
it was. I'm glad you went back. And so anyway, she ends up leaving the party. She goes home, and she kind of is like waiting on him to come home. And she end up like, don't she end up falling asleep a little bit?
Yeah, I think she falls asleep,
but wakes up when he comes home.
Right.
And then she started questioning him like a real girlfriend. Okay.
Right. So she's, I mean, for real. She wakes up in the morning. She's like ready to go off, or I don't want to say ready to go off. She does go off. She pretty much puts him on the spot, and it was like, if you had to pick between me and Chloe, and he's like, wait, don't do that right now, girl, because no. And she like tells him like, I'm 70% in love with you, and I just need to know, like, am I wasting my time or not? Like, I like you. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but like, what's the deal? And he doesn't really know how to deal with it because he didn't know how to answer it. Yeah, because he wasn't expecting that. He had a lot of stuff he needed to work out. So she felt stupid after that, and she felt some type of way. So does she leave yet?
She does. I remember her saying, "Oh, you just gonna let her manipulate you like that?" Like, because that's what the guys has already told her.
Yeah,
and Namjoon kind of know that's what she did, but they have such a long history
Right.
So.
Oh wait, you know what? I think so when they do have the conversation, I guess something gets cleared up a little bit because remember they ended up sitting on the couch. I don't know if they actually spoke, just kidding. But he was on the couch, so she was like, we can watch whatever, like whatever you're watching is cool. So they just sit there, and later on he asked her if he wants anything. They order pizza. So they're chilling eating the pizza.
They sat on the couch all day in awkward silence.
Right. And they were eating the pizza, and then old girl came to the house.
Yes, girl. I was mad at her then, for real.
Girl.
Like, who are you to come by my house unexpected, first of all?
First of all, unannounced. The nerve of you.
And he's in the shower at this point. He's like, I'm going to go take a shower or whatever. Because they've been sitting on the couch funky all day, okay? Just all enjoying the awkward silence and company with each other,
girl.
And like she had started being like, okay, we gonna talk. We got to get this talk out. Like, because they talk, but they have not talked the way she wants to talk. Like, she wants the answers. Like, what are we? Like, what are we? Those type of answers. But
right.
He went and got in the shower. She ordered a pizza. Like, she's ready to just get this out the way so they can do them or whatever. And before he get out the shower, here come Chloe.
And she thought it was a pizza person. And when she answered the door, she saw that it was Chloe. And old girl was like, is Namjoon here? And she's looking like, yeah, but like, what you doing here? And she's like, is he expecting you? And she's like, no, I thought it'd be better to surprise him. And old girl is like, excuse the fuck out of you. Like, I live in this bitch too. So the nerve. You need to announce yourself, girl.
Exactly.
Don't be showing up here.
Because, like, without her saying that, you knew this is what she was thinking, because she was at the door for so long looking at her like, and then she ends up saying, well, I can wait out here.
I can wait inside. No, you cannot, girl. You better go somewhere. He'll meet you at the local bodega, girl. Like, don't come in this thing.
But she has manners and she doesn't let her in.
Yeah.
Even though she rolling them eyes like, no, I do not want you to come in, but I'm going to let you in because I'm not petty.
I'm going to let you in. Right. So she walks her happy ass inside and is like looking around because she notices like the pillow, like the stuff they were sitting on the couch, the TV's on, they got the pizza eventually does come. So she's like, yeah, you guys hang out at home a lot? And the girl's like, yeah, we do. And she's like, oh, that's cool. But you could tell she's just like, okay, whatever.
And here come Namjoon out the bathroom, and the nerve of her to say, you still use that shampoo? Ooh.
Which is the shampoo that the girl loves.
I
forgot
what
kind it was.
Something like that. Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
She got a little stank. She was like, you still use it? And the girls.
Right. I was like, I thought was funny was that when Chloe went to go like into the living room, she sat on the couch and they have sex on. Okay.
So she gets the pizza. She goes in the kitchen. She's like, should I get 3 plates? Should I get 2 plates? Like, what's good? Like, she kind of overthinking it, like she always doing. She was like, oh, we eating pizza. I don't know what I'm doing. And so, she started eating her pizza because Namjoon buys pizza for her and him. Because I guess she like a different kind of pizza, which I didn't know what kind of pizza that even was.
Yeah, I don't remember what type of pizza she got. I just remember he got like Hawaiian pizza. So when she's in the kitchen and getting the pizza, he actually goes in there too. And she's like, they're kind of having playful banter or whatever. And Chloe notices like their conversation is like, oh, you guys are so much alike and stuff like that. And she kind of feels some type of way. Long story short, the girl is like, hey, can we go talk? Because old girl was sitting there eating her pizza, sitting there looking at the girl, looking at Namjoon like, I'm not leaving nothing because I pay rent in this hoe. So finally, Chloe's like, can we go talk in private? So they get up and go into his room. And the girl, bless her heart, she was like, let me go be nosy real quick.
Which would have been me all day, girl.
Me too. I mean, but honestly, like the walls were thin, so it didn't matter for real.
And Namjoon knew that she could hear, so he started turning up the music in his room. And so I guess she finally went to sleep after that. But when she woke up, that music still was playing.
Yep. And she wanted to talk to him because they were supposed to have the conversation. So when she comes out of her room, because she's like making coffee or whatever or something like that, she sees that Namjoon's on the couch. So she's like, "Hey, why are you out on the couch?" And he tells her that him and Chloe stayed up talking last night and told her that she could sleep in his bed and he would sleep on the couch.
Why he do that, girl? Because then she mad. She was like, "You let her sleep in your bed?" And he was like,
Right.
And she like,
right. Clearly not fully understanding until she explains, like, we've never even been in each other's room.
I have not even slept in your bed. You let her sleep in your bed? And so I guess she just go get ready for her to go to work.
Yeah, because she's getting ready to go to work. She's like, "Look, we need to talk." And he's like, "Okay, we can talk. Let's talk tonight." And she's like, "Okay, cool." So, because she tried to do a couple of other options, but he was like, "Look, it's really gonna need to be the nighttime. Like, that's the best I could do." So that was set. That's what they were supposed to do. So the whole day she's at work, struggling to pay attention because she is knowing that they need to have the conversation. So she
he texts her.
Yeah, that's right. He texts her right before.
And he asked her, "Can we do dinner?" And she was like, "Yeah, we can talk during dinner, whatever, blah, blah, blah." Well, as the day go by, he texts her and say, "Hey," or is she on her way home? Or like she's getting ready to leave?
Yeah, I think she was getting ready to go home, or she was getting ready to leave or something like that. And he texts her again.
Can we do? We can't do dinner tonight. Something came up basically. And so she goes home, and when she go home, she see this hoe with his shirt on, okay, tied up, fashionable, trying to look cute. And she's like, she looking at them like, what's going on here? Because Namjoon right there, and she was like, "Oh, you going to? Oh, aren't we going to dinner or something?" She said, or something. What was it?
Yeah. So the girl was like, "So you were in the apartment all day?" And the girl's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I didn't have to work, so I slept in and waited for Junie to take me so we could go have dinner." And so she's right. And she's like, "Yeah, dinner." This whole time, homeboy ain't say nothing. So she's like, "Okay, have a good time." Art clearly have an attitude. So the girl's like, "All right, thanks, bye." And she starts walking down the stairs, but Namjoon doesn't follow her initially. So he's like trying to explain in as quick of a way as possible. So he's like, "I came home, she was here. I didn't know that she was going to be here. Like, I didn't expect this." And the girl's like, "Okay, so you're taking her to dinner for being a manipulator? Like, that's what you're gonna do? Okay, bet." And he's like, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" And old girl's like, "You need to tell her ass to go home."
That's exactly what
That's what you need to do. So she tells him he tells her, like, I told her I told her I was gonna go home. Like, I'll tell you everything. I told her I'm not interested in her anymore. Like, just give me a couple of hours and then we can talk about this. Like, I know this isn't ideal, but we can talk. Like, I promise you we can talk. So she's like, "No."
Said, "Can we do lunch tomorrow?" No.
Yeah, she's like, "No." He's like, "Well, we could do dinner." She's like, "Nope, no thanks." Nope. She's like, "You have fun with her. You guys go to dinner, go to a movie, do whatever you're gonna do, but yeah, no." And he's like, "Please just give me a few more hours." And she's like, "Nah, it's now or nothing." And he left. So she feels some type of way, and she's like, "You know what? I can't do this." So she packs her bag and she goes to her sister's house, right?
For a couple of days too.
He gets back home maybe like a couple of hours later, and he's texting her like, "Hey, I'm home, like, we can talk." And she doesn't respond, so he texted her again like, I'm in my room, so just hit me up." The next morning he wakes up and she's not there, so he texts her again and it's like, "Hey, I noticed you're not home, you didn't come home, I just want to make sure you're safe." She doesn't message him back at all.
That would have been me too.
So same here. Although I don't know, the part of me would have been needing to hear answers because I freaking love answers. I'm like, no, I need to know what's up. Like, I need everything to be clear. I need to hear everything out.
Yeah, but after
so
you
I
would have said when she was
like,
"No, it's now or never," and he left, I would have been pissed off at that point. And yes, I would not have answered. I would not have answered his phone, his texts after that. I'm like, he gotta wait a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been mad, but I just the way my life is set up, I be needing to know stuff. I do. I'm like, okay, like what's the deal with this? I hate it sometimes, to be completely honest with you, because I be waiting on answers that'll never come. But anyway, enough about my sad life. So she goes to work, and somebody, I think like the secretary or something, says that a guy called and that said it was her roommate. So she's like, yeah, that was my roommate. I was at my sister's last night and I didn't let him know. She's like, okay, cool, because I was about to tell HR because I thought she had a stalker. So she goes to her desk or whatever, and she has more text messages from him. Just he's concerned because he hasn't heard from her, and it's getting later and later. Yep. So she finally texts him, is like, hey, I was at my sister's, like, I'm gonna be there for the next couple of days, just give me some time or whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna be here when you're ready.
Right. And a couple of days go by, and her sister's like, she have a conversation with her sister, and she was like, look, the sister even know that you are in love with this dude, basically. Like, why should you be acting this way? Like, you never acted this way before. And you need to do what you need to do.
Exactly. Like, get off my couch. Love seeing you, sis, but you gotta go. You gotta listen to this man. You tell him your feelings, and you need to clear things up.
A conversation
so
with
she's
Jimmy,
like,
and Jimmy told her, what's going on.
Right, which surprised her because apparently she didn't know that her sister and Jimmy still like spoke to one another. So she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go home and I'll talk to him or whatever. So she gets home. She gets home late, I think, right?
She goes home,
so she's
rushing to go home after she feel like she didn't realize that she really do love him.
Right.
And so she rushes home, and he's not there. The apartment is dark, and she waits for him because it's not really all that late because he out with friends.
Because he wasn't expecting her to be back that day because she said she was going to be there for a couple of days. So he wasn't expecting her.
Yeah, it was a couple of days though. It was like 2 days because it went back to show like the bonus was his point of view of what happened.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He was like, look, I cannot sit in this house and wait on her. Like, if the longer I'm sitting in the house, the more I'm just sitting here waiting on her to get back. I want to see her. I want to talk to her. Like, he at that point was just knowing he was in love with her then. And he was like, like his friends was from work asked him, did he want to hang out? And usually he says no. And he's noticed that before he was hanging out with them, but he quit hanging out with them to hang out at the house with her.
Right.
And so that night he went out with the friends, and they was like shocked that he even was going out because he usually don't go out after that, time of him being with her. And so he comes home.
Yeah, so he comes home and he notices that the apartment is quiet, but he's like hearing a little bit of sounds, and he goes into the living room and he's on one side. So I picture this whole scene, right? So he walks through the entryway of the living room, and she's on one side of the couch, like the sex couch, and she's on the other. He's on the one side. She's on the other.
One couch in that living room too.
Right, like the way the picture, like the very first picture that's in the story is exactly how I imagined it. Like just that couch and that's it, and like a TV
and a coffee table.
So she's like, we need to talk, and he's like, yeah, but she wasn't sure if they should talk that night or not because she knew he was out with his friends. So he's like, they could talk tonight because he wasn't drunk. So they end up having a conversation.
Like, no, we're talking tonight. He did not want to. He did not want to wait one more minute to talk. He was like, no, we're talking tonight, but let me go shower. But before he went to go shower, he hugged her. Remember? He grabbed her.
Yes, because he missed her.
So cute.
He missed her. Oh, that's really cute. So they take a quick little 5-minute break while he goes and does his thing. They gives them both time to kind of get their thoughts in order, whatever. He has on these cute pajamas, and I guess that kind of relieves some of the tension. He asked her how they want to start the conversation. She's like, I just want to hear your side of things first. So he pretty much tells her the whole thing, what actually happened with Chloe, which was way deeper than I expected. Deep. Girl, I was like, whoa, this is not the story I was expecting at all. So pretty much he tells her that they they went to school. They were childhood friends. They've known each other their entire lives. They always used to joke about their parents thinking that they're going to be together, whatever. She moved away a little bit of a distance away, and they used to see each other, off and on or whatever. And then like they would get together before school, things like that. But come to find out, their parents were actually against them dating. Right. So especially his mama. They went to, especially his mom. So they ended up going to different colleges. They saw each other once a week, things like that. So they did have sex a lot, but they weren't always smart. And so he pretty much tells her that one day Chloe calls and tells her that she's pregnant. She said that she took a pregnancy test and it came back positive. So then they went to the doctor and that one came back negative. Or no, I think she took another test and it came back negative. Then they went to the doctor and
it was negative.
It was negative as well. So they had like a sigh of relief or whatever.
But you're right. But before they did that, they was like thinking, what are we going to do? Are we going to stick this out? Now we're going to be parents, because they was thinking that she was pregnant. So they had like put this whole plan together, what they were going to do, and they were going to be together and everything. And they got closer than ever before she even went to the doctor.
Well, right. And then with the whole scare, he felt more connected to her, but she did not. She felt opposite of that. She felt like although she loved him, she wasn't ready for a relationship that serious. And so this is when it gets real crazy. She proposed to be in an open relationship with him, and he agreed, even though he didn't want to, but he did because he wanted to be with her.
Yeah, that's real.
That's crazy.
I'm like, I'm doing really
like that was a mess. So they have this open relationship or whatever. He went out on dates, but nothing like serious. He said her and the girl talked pretty often. Then it came out that girl had a boyfriend. And was in love with him. Yo.
Broke his
heart.
That's
messed up. Broke his heart. Still wished her the best and wanted to make sure that she was good and that she was happy, but he was like, he didn't want to talk to her, see her. So the girl's like asking him questions, whatever. So he tells, so the girl asked like, well, how did she know about your party? Because when at the birthday party, she tells I think Jimin or one of the guys that Namjoon was the one that had to tell her, because they all said none of them told her. So Namjoon tells her that his parents must have told her.
Right, because he didn't tell her. And the whole time she thought that he told her.
Oh, wait, I said that wrong. His parents must have told her parents who told her. There we go.
But he didn't tell her. And the
he
girl
didn't
thought
tell her.
He told her the whole time, so her feelings was hurt about that too.
Right.
And he also then explained to her
go ahead.
that basically that she kind of was using him. Not using him, but kind of like if it didn't work with the other guy, he was a sure thing.
Right, on the back burner.
Right.
That's messed up. You don't put Namjoon in the back burner.
Honey, not Mr. President.
Right. Oh, that's so sad. Like this whole conversation, I was just like, it's terrible.
He basically was telling her why he felt that way the whole time, like why he was so confused about it, like why he couldn't understand why he felt that way.
She pretty much was like, well, why did you do all this with her? And he's like, well, because I know how she operates, and if I would have kept pushing her, she would have kept bothering me until she wore me down, and I would have ended up doing what she wanted anyway. So I figured just cut all this middle stuff out and get this so I can let her know I'm done, blah blah blah. He's like, I knew you were upset about it, and I knew that I could fix it once we talked, but I know that it was going to be rough, so I had to kind of give like a white lie so that you could give me the opportunity. He's like, I didn't know if it was going to work, but here we are, so clearly it's okay. So she's like grateful or whatever that they had the conversation, all that stuff. They're kind of going through the whole, well, what are we type of thing. So they're talking about like, are they us, blah blah blah. He's like, I just don't know how to be a good boyfriend. And girl's like, you are a good boyfriend. You know exactly what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. I think they have sex again, or they talk about having sex again or something like that.
They talk about
and then they end up deciding to have...
Don't they talk about having a date?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So they had set up a date. Remember when they were talking about it with Jimin before the party? And so before this, she wants to have like sleep in his room or whatever, and or like cuddle with him or something like that. And he's like, well, let's just wait until Saturday. So she's like, all right, whatever, we'll wait till Saturday. For the next chapter, I think they go through what happens
his
with
side of the story.
Namjoon. Yeah, so they kind of explain like what his side for that night, how everything worked out in detail, blah blah.
But
blah.
the only good part that I like, are you gonna go into detail about it? The only part that I like about this part is that it explains how he got in the car with her. First of all, now we thinking about the scene when she go home and she and she sees him, and he did want to turn around and go back to her, but he knew he had to go in that whole thing with her. So he gets in the car with her, they're driving, and he tells her to pull over. And that's when he explained, okay, I'm not the one for you. You'll meet a great guy one day, but I'm not the guy. And he basically told her that he would always love her, but not in that way. And she understood. And so she ended up turning around, taking him back, and she told him, you love her, don't you? You're in love with her, aren't you? He was like, yeah. And so she takes him back, and that's when,
he realizes she's not at the house.
So that's basically the bonus backstory of what he was doing at the time.
Right. So during this time, because I think I don't know what day it is, but they've been kind of acting weird towards each other once they kind of have said, like, this is how I feel about you. Like, I like you. There's clearly an us thing. Like, what are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. But they've been like weird. So they try to break the silence by like having a text conversation and like talking to each other, but not being weird. And it ends up like working out or whatever. Like they're trying to make it not a big deal. Like, let's just chill out. Let's just whatever. She does end up sitting in his room. Like he opens the door and she like goes into his room. And I think she sits.
He goes to her room. Yeah,
to
and
her room.
He sits on the bed, and she was like, "You can lay down." He's like, "I am not trying to lay down in that bed with you."
Right.
And the whole time she can't.
So
what is she doing? He's reading a webtoon. She's doing something, but she can't concentrate because she just looking at Namjoon. And I was just picturing him sitting on that bed with his like back curved in, looking at his webtoon, and I was like, "Oh my god, I know he looks so good."
Right.
And so,
girl,
they end up calling it a night, basically, right? And he leaves, but they plan their date. They plan the date.
Yeah, well, so he has the date already planned, but he hasn't told her the details of it. So he just tells her like dress like cute but like casual. You don't have to be like super fancy. And she keeps asking like, well, what are we doing? He's like, it's a surprise. So she wakes up in the morning to get ready for their date, and she's like, she opens the door and there's an entire breakfast spread. Like he's got like yogurt, fruit, like all these different foods. And she looks inside Namjoon's room, and he's not in the room. He's not in the bathroom, and she realized that he's not there at all. He left the breakfast for her and a note to see that he had wrote her this cute note saying that you have a surprise. Just chill out. Be at the train station at 4:30. Just go to the ticket counter, tell them your name, and then you'll be good to go.
Read that letter, she had been sitting there eating and thinking hard about stuff like she always do. She think too hard,
right?
And before she hadn't even noticed that letter was just sitting there for a minute. So when she seen the letter, she read it. Oh, by the way, B is the train station at such and such time. She was like, "Oh shoot, I only got half an hour or an hour to get ready."
Right. And she tried to, so when she saw it, she tried to like research stuff to see what's around, and she's like, let me just wait and not ruin the surprise. So finishes getting dressed, she goes to pick up the ticket, and she gets an envelope, and there's a photo, and it's a constellation. So she's like looking at the constellation, trying to do research. And I don't know how to pronounce this constellation, but pretty much there's this queen, and they angered Poseidon by saying that this thing was more beautiful than another one, and then the wrath and all this sea monsters, Medusa slaying sea monster stone. It was a lot.
Like really, it was a real Namjoon stuff.
Yeah, it was like stuff was Yeah, Constellation. So she so she looks, there's a lot, there's like a whole backstory. And then she gets to the station and she notices that she didn't think there was any instructions, but she notices something on the back of the photo and there's something written on it. And so the thing says, when I said I knew a little bit about love, that wasn't true. I know a lot about love. I've seen it centuries and centuries. Pretty much it's a quote, right? She starts thinking about this quote from this book, and it's a book that they've had a conversation about. And so one of the quotes also says, like, pretty much says that he loves her without saying he loves her because it's a quote from book. So she overthinks that. And she's like, there's no way he's telling me that he loves me, blah, 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 blah. And that's pretty much, Anyway, she gets out the train station. She finds a car waiting for her. She goes in the car and she's already like super emotional from reading this quote. So she gets in the car. They drive like super far out of town, kind of in the sticks. And she sees this house and sees Namjoon outside, and he walks towards her and he's like asking about her trip, blah, blah, blah. So they have like a little picnic set up. Wasn't that so cute?
But I thought that he was going to say this like my childhood home or something.
I thought so too. Yeah. That first date, like, that what a first date.
First date.
My gosh. Like, wow.
Yes, he put a lot of effort into that first date. He tried.
So they talk about the quote or whatever. They're stargazing together. It's like super special. He's pretty much telling her what he felt, blah, blah. And by the end of it, he pretty much tells her, like, I know you said that you were 70% in love with me, but I know for certain that I'm 100% in love with you.
It was so sweet.
It was so cute. And you know what's, it's actually really cute how he said it, because he's like, he said, a week ago you said you were 70% in love with me. That's really inconvenient when I'm 100% in love with you. I'm like, oh, that's really cute.
Because I wanted her to say she loved him then. But then they watched that whole movie before that they really wasn't even really watching, before she did tell him that she loved him.
Right. So they have sex.
On the wall, of course, the wall gets
Girl, everything gets in the shower, the wall,
but not the bed. I'm mad about that.
But not the bed.
Not the bed
because
they was like, oh, should we get in the bed? They were like, no, not yet.
No, like, we're gonna wait. Yeah, we're gonna wait till we get back to this house so I can be in the bed.
Again. The wall always gets it. The wall
got it. Seriously, had to be a wall, because these stories, girl, I'm like, man, this is great.
Yeah, but I still want it to be on that bed. I'm like, it ain't their bed. It can still be special.
It can still be special. He even asked her, like, do you want to go now? We can drive back now. We cannot stay here. And she's like, no, because he put all that effort into it, rented out the place. She didn't want to waste his money, so they ended up staying the night there.
Bed, honey. I would have been.
He sure was. And she was like, absolutely not.
Same way, because how uncomfortable would it have been to keep having sex on that uncomfortable couch? You can't stretch your legs out like you want to.
Right.
You can only go so many degrees on that couch.
Exactly, girl.
They had sex on the wall, and then they both took showers, and he bought PJs and everything for her.
Yeah, he was prepared. Like, he had gotten clothes for her and all of that, so that she wouldn't have to worry about it. He like really thought about this whole little date thing. It was so special.
Oh, that makes you mad at everybody else. Like, why you can't put no thought? I'll be saying it to my husband. Why you can't play Namjoon? The
fictional Namjoon.
But I bet you the real Namjoon is like that too, girl. I bet he is.
You think so?
Poetic with stuff. He thinks.
That's true.
Right,
you do have a way with words.
Everything out. Like, I just feel like he is like that.
What a disappointment if we heard he was trash.
What a disappointment if you figure out that slang ain't after all these fanfic books saying he got the best.
They leave. They get back to their apartment. And one thing too, before they when they're having sex at the Airbnb, she says, remind me to get on birth control like tomorrow. He's like, I won't forget, girl.
Right, because now they both know how I feel. Raw dog.
Right. So they get back to the house. They go into the room and they pretty much are trying to decide.
And then he was like, looking at her like, shall we? Come on, let's go. And they went into his room. And his bed was not comfortable. So they ended up going to her room.
Oh, it's so cute. And they like just keep saying they love each other. It's so
cute. And they finally did have sex in the bed. Oh, it was a good thing. But it wasn't as detailed as I wanted it to be, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for that last scene, I was expecting it to be a little bit more detailed, but it wasn't. But anyway, they end up having sex. They cuddle after they're finished, and they just lay down, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the end of the story. Like, actually, not even pretty much. That is the end of the story.
No, the end of the story was...
So how did...
Oh, yeah, I really have to be on birth control. Remember?
Yeah.
And that was the end of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, I love the story. It was so
Me
cute.
too.
It was fast. I took my precious time reading this story. I really did. After the last story.
Yeah, oh girl, that last one was draining.
So I had to take my time, but I enjoyed every bit of it. It wasn't like on the last story. I just felt like, I gotta read this. Like, it took forever for me to read it because I had to force myself to read it because it was so much. With this, it was so light, easy going. Now it was a little bit of drama, but good drama. It was like light drama.
Right. It wasn't like a lot of craziness. It was a really... Even though there was smut in it, it was a really fluffy story, and I liked that. Yeah. Like, I enjoyed it.
I love fluff and I love smut. And I do love some drama, too, just so we can talk about good drama. But sometimes it's a lot of drama. It's overwhelming. It's very draining. Like, it's got to be the right amount. But I did like this of that. It was a nice, quick read.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I enjoyed it. I love reading anything about Namjoon, so you know. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute.
But I will tell you the only thing I do not like about AO3 is like they don't have enough pictures. I love the pictures. I know I might be sounding like an elementary student because I like the pictures. But I do love the picture. It just brings something else to the story.
Yeah, it provides some visual. Although, like, when reading it, you kind of make your own pictures in your mind. But when they have them provided to you, it's kind of like, this is what I was thinking all along. Right. And it's kind of cool to see what you thought matches up with what the author was feeling as well. So that's what I do like about it. Something else. Well, I mean, we found a way to read some of these AO3 stories on an app, which it made it much better, much easier to read, which was like, that was everything. So, but yeah, like, this was a good story. I'm glad this was recommended to us. It was, I enjoyed it.
Guys, keep recommending those stories to us. We want to hear what you want us to read.
Yes, definitely. I know we put out, so the next episode that we're doing is going to be a Jin story. We're going back in the order of the fan chant. So,
and I was just thinking, let's do the fan chant. I mean, the order of the fan chant. Unless somebody wants us to review, I think we should just go ahead and read. So we'll do the order of the fan chant unless you want us to read something else in between, and then we'll go read that, and then we'll go back to the fan chant.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like that. You guys can recommend those things to us on Twitter, on Instagram. You can email us at doyoureadbts@yahoo.com. Just hit us up. We post every now and again just to see like what everybody's reading. So yeah, just interact with us so we can see what's going on. All right. Well, thanks guys for tuning in for another episode. Bye. We'll see you next time.